So, good morning. I'm Peter Larson with Canada Talks Israel-Palestine, and I'm happy to have here today with me Yakov Rabkin, who's a professor at the University of Montreal and who is an expert on issues relating to Israel, to Zionism, to Judaism. Dr. Rabkin, thank you very much for spending some time with us today.
It's my pleasure.
As you might guess from my name is Peter Larson. I'm not Jewish. Can you explain to me and to my viewers what's the difference between Judaism and Zionism?
Well, I'm afraid not all Jews understand the difference either. The difference is very simple. Judaism is a religious system and a system of belief and practices that has existed in its current form and its rabbinical form for the last 2,000 years. And the monotheism, which we also call Judaism, has existed for over 3,500 years. So we are talking about a system that has been around for a long time. Zionism is a political movement that emerged at the end of the 19th century, and it had four objectives. Very simple. To transform the transnational Jewish identity centered on the Torah, on the Bible, into a national identity, like identities you have in countries of Europe, Hungarians and Poles and so on. Second objective was to develop a new national vernacular, a new language based on biblical and rabbinical Hebrew, and that's the modern Hebrew, because Jews did not and do not speak the same language. Then to transfer the Jews from countries of their origin to Palestine, that's a third objective. And the fourth one was to establish political and economic control over that land, if need be, by force. So we are talking about very different things, Judaism and Zionism.
Are there Jews who aren't Zionists? I've heard liberal rabbis here in Ottawa say that to be a real Jew, you have to be a Zionist.
Well, no one knows what a real Jew really is, but I think for the last few decades, there has been a deliberate conflation between Judaism and Zionism. And it's historically, of course, very problematic because when Zionism emerged, most Jews rejected it, both religious Jews and less religious, liberal and less liberal. So today, for many Jews, and definitely for almost all Zionists, the two are identical. And if you want to be a Jew, you have to believe in the state of Israel and Zionism. But in fact, it's a new religion. So it may actually develop into something totally different from Judaism, because Judaism requires certain behavior, certain values, and so on. Zionism, or in that form, requires support for the state of Israel, which is political activity. So I don't see too much overlapping between the two.
In your most recent book, which I have here called What is Modern Israel, you talk a little bit, Dr. Rabkin, about the relationship between the defense of Israel, Zionism, and anti-Semitism. Now, to many people, including myself, Zionism and anti-Semitism are opposite. Zionism is to defend Jews, and anti-Semitism is expression of hatred or dislike or opposition to Jews. And you argued that those two notions are quite closely linked. Can you explain that a little bit, please?
Yeah, before I do that, I'd never said that Zionism is about defending Jews. It is not one of the four objectives. Zionism,
I stand corrected.
Zionism is about, it's a political movement trying to bring Jews to Palestine and so on. However, in fact, Zionism was a revolutionary movement. Zionists were proud to be revolutionaries, to rebel against the Jewish tradition. They were, by and large, atheists and agnostics. They wanted to throw away the old baggage and build a new Hebrew. So we're talking about a revolutionary movement that really disliked the Jews as they were at the end of the 19th century. Moreover, they believed that Jews don't belong to the countries in which they live. In this sense, their belief was very similar to that of the anti-Semites, who also thought the Jews are a foreign element in their countries, and they have to be expelled, or unfortunately what happened in the 20th century, even murdered. So, but at least conceptually, Zionism and anti-Semitism were convinced, and still are, the Jews don't belong in the countries where they live. They belong to another country. They are a foreign element. And that's the irony that my colleague from Tel Aviv University noticed, Shlomo Sand. He wrote that 100 years ago, when you would say the Jews belonged to a separate nation, you would be considered an anti-Semite. Today, if you say you don't believe that, then you're an anti-Semite. So the meaning of anti-Semitism has been really perverted largely to fit the Zionist agenda.
I've seen written somewhere that the current state of Israel might have an interest in at least some element of anti-Semitism in North America, because it would encourage the Zionist notion. Do you credit that thesis?
Well, of course. I mean, I just said that for Zionism, liberal societies where Jews live as equals is a negation of their doctrine. They have to be a foreign element. And when unfortunate anti-Semitic episodes happen, usually Israeli officials and other Zionist activists will say, well, we told you so. You see, that's what happens because you are in a place. You have to come home, as they put it.
Well, Dr. Rabkin, thank you very much. We've had some unsettling anti-Semitic incidents in Ottawa, but they, I guess, I'll say, fortunately, they were more broadly based racist, xenophobic incidents. So they also attacked a church and they attacked a mosque and so on. But certainly this issue of anti-Semitism and racism is going to be on the agenda for the next little while. And I want to thank you very much for helping us understand. And you don't mind if people buy and read your book?
No, I'll be very happy. And indeed, you asked interesting questions. So I hope I've enlightened some of your listeners.
You've been very helpful. I'll put a link to put the details on your book on my website. So thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you.